An important part of networking is the ability and a skill to present yourself. This is very important. That's how you basically can show your value to a potential employer, to communicate what you can do and how you can deliver to your potential employer what they actually need. I use networking in order to get the recruiter's perspective, not to get the perspective of other job seekers, but to understand what's the perspective of the other side, of the people who hire actually, to understand what your profile on LinkedIn, what your CV, what your cover letter should look like to be even eligible for a first interview or for screening.
So I came with my own CV, which I prepared back in India. And I was actually applying through the same CV. I didn't change, I didn't have any kind of training, but I was not landing up in any job or getting any kind of success. So yes, indeed, I had a meeting with a counselor in Tutukasa, and I asked them for their feedback or any kind of changes they can recommend or advise me, which they didn't. They said that it's perfect and you haven't to worry about it. So I was like, okay, cool, everything is fine. So I went ahead with it. Estonia is known to be an IT country, and it is good for the IT people. So I'm not from the IT background. So it was a challenge for me to get or seek job in my field. So I was told by people that either you have to change your field completely or you have to quit this country and leave. So I was like, I'm not comfortable with either of the options. But having said that, still I was not landing up in anything. So few suggested me, okay, you cut down this qualification, you cut down this, that. And I was doing that also. So I started experimenting on my CV. But that also didn't work. So I came back to my own original one. I said, okay, now I'm not going to spend time on this. I want to actually search jobs, and let me do this. And finally it paid off, I would say. Yeah.
I learned in Estonia from the many employers that they're using automatic selection system as well when they're reviewing the CVs. And sometimes the systems were automatically rejecting the CVs that were made on the certain platforms that were more illustrative. So when the program was seeing illustrative CV, then they were rejecting it automatically, so it was not going to the eyes of the employer at all. And I was using a lot of that, so all my CVs were beautiful, and I was putting a lot of illustrations in the way that I was perfecting the design of it, when in the sense it has to be more simple, more basic and more professional. And that was one of the learning points that I had during this job search process. And the second point was that the one-page CVs win the best, and it's not about that you put a lot of information on it, but you put the right information on it.
An average time that a recruiter looks at your CV is 7 seconds, so it should be not longer than 1 page, because by adding the second page you're stealing time from the first one. But in LinkedIn you can tell a lot about yourself and about your skills, and you should always mention the LinkedIn profile, the link to your LinkedIn in your CV, because this is an extension of your CV. The key learning for me was that you should be very specific about your achievements in your previous roles, and the important thing is to add numbers or measurables. Not that I worked as a project manager or I worked as an educator, but in the timeline of 2 years I delivered this, and the numbers were X, Y, Z. So in Finland you should be very precise and specific about your achievements, so a future employer could understand what this person actually can do.